fact, I've mentioned this before. So anyone who's listening and has heard me say this before, my apologies. This was recognized right away by some. In fact, the very well-known sci-fi author Philip K. Dick, in 1974, early 1974, an immediate response to the Roe v. Wade decision, wrote a little-known short story called "The Pre-Persons," and it was a dystopian future type of thing, as he was well known for writing. And in this dystopian future, it was legal. The dividing line for when you became a person was when you could do algebra. And that's a standard that it makes clear in the story that had shifted, like not so far in the past. It was like it was later, it was sooner, it's like whatever. Anyway, and they decided the age when you could do algebra was 12. So you could literally abort your kid up to the age of 12 in this story. Now, one, he wrote it to obviously show how arbitrary it was. And there was even a character who was, I think it was his kid or something. He got caught without his desirability papers. And he didn't have them with him either. So he's like, well, you've got to take me. And they literally had like dog catchers essentially driving around looking for kids without their desirability papers to take them to be processed. And the guy was like, well, you got to take me too. Why? You're old enough. Well, I forgot how to do algebra. It was like, yeah. It was such an awesome and brilliant story, and I discovered it years ago, like many years ago, and it took me a long time to find a copy. Actually, it took me a very long time because
what was the title again?
The Pre-Persons. You can find somebody has scanned it in, and you can find it online now. If you'll dig just a little bit. But when I was looking for just a copy of it in a book, I could not find it. It was not in a single collection of Philip K. Dick stories. Now,
imagine that.
I actually had to go and get an original copy of the sci-fi magazine that it was printed in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting because me being a evangelical pastor's kid, I read a lot of Frank Peretti, and I will debate with people about Frank Peretti's status as an author. I think he's a fantastic author, and I know that evangelicals tend to write kind of cheesy fiction. I will admit that, but I will stand by Frank Peretti. I think he's brilliant. But even among Christian circles, he wrote a very pro-life book. Frank Peretti was originally a pastor before he became an author, but he wrote this really fantastic book called Tilly. It's actually a novella. And he originally wrote it to be a play, but it's about a woman who, I want to say that she is a nurse who assisted in abortions, and I think she has a near-death experience where she sees the children that she assisted in killing. And even in Christian circles, the book was really hard to find. It's his first ever printed book. And like I said, he originally wrote it to be a play, but he couldn't get it published even locally or performed locally. So he just made it a novella and got it released. I think they did the company that he signed with a couple of years ago did re-release it as for a 10th anniversary edition, basically. But it's really hard. And I actually had to do some digging on Amazon and paid way more than it was worth to get my hands on it. But I'm so glad I did. But if you in the Christian fiction, you'll see This Present Darkness, probably his most famous novel. You'll see The Visitation, which I actually love. Last one he wrote before he retired, but you cannot find Tilly. It's really hard to find.